To read someone's mind, you don't need magic. You don't need to be a psychic. You only need to understand 3 simple techniques. When you do, you'll begin to hear the truth that people don't say out loud. You'll notice the thoughts hidden between their words. And most importantly, you'll start to see people even with your eyes closed. Let me tell you an ancient Buddhist story that reveals how this is possible. A long time ago, in a peaceful village surrounded by forests and rice fields, there lived 2 brothers. The older brother had been blind since birth. He couldn't see the light of day, the color of the sky, or the smile on someone's face. But he was calm, kind, and deeply wise. The younger brother was a farmer, strong and hardworking. Every day he toiled in the fields, trying to grow enough food for them both. But they had a problem. No matter how hard the younger brother worked, wild animals kept coming at night. Deer, boars, monkeys, and trampling the crops. The fields were his life, and every time the animals destroyed them, he felt like his efforts were meaningless. One evening, exhausted and desperate, he sat beside his blind brother and said, "I don't know what to do. I try everything, but these animals, they just come back. I'm losing hope." The blind brother listened quietly, then said, "Why don't you build a small hut in the middle of the field, and I'll sit there during the day. I can't work the land, but I can listen. If anything approaches, I'll shout." The younger brother was surprised. "But you can't see them. How will you know?" "I don't need to see. I only need to hear," the blind brother replied. The next day, the younger brother built a simple hut with palm leaves and bamboo. And from then on, while he worked, the blind brother sat silently in the hut, listening. A few days passed. The animals stopped coming. They seemed to sense that someone was watching or perhaps listening. The crops began to grow again. Hope returned to the brothers' hearts. Then one quiet morning, something unusual happened. A pregnant deer stepped into the field. Her hooves moved gently across the earth. She was calm, not looking for food, just passing through. The blind brother heard her, but he didn't shout. He remained still. Soon after, the sound of horses echoed through the valley. It was the king's hunting party. The royal horns blew, and the ground shook as warriors approached. The king, dressed in golden armor, rode ahead of his men. He saw the blind man sitting alone in the field and stopped. "Old man," he said, "have you seen a deer pass through here?" The blind man lifted his head and said, "Yes, a deer passed by, but it is not one worth chasing." The king raised an eyebrow. "And how would you know that? You are blind." The blind man smiled gently. "It was a pregnant doe. She moved slowly, with care. She made no sound of fear. Her breath was steady. And I have never known a noble king to hunt a mother carrying life." The king was stunned. He sent one of his men to follow the tracks. Moments later, the man returned, confirming the deer was indeed pregnant. Intrigued, the king dismounted and sat beside the blind man. "You've impressed me. Tell me, if you can know such things without sight, then answer this: can you tell me if my queen is truly faithful to me?" The blind man nodded. "I can, but I must speak with her alone." The king agreed. The queen was brought to the field and left with the blind man. She stood before him silent. The blind man said softly, "Let me touch your hand. Through it, I will know your truth." The queen gasped. "How dare you? You are nothing but a peasant. You insult me." And she began to strike him, calling him names, full of rage. Later the king returned and asked, "Well, what did you learn?" The blind man calmly replied, "Your queen is unfaithful." The king's face hardened. "How can you be sure?" The blind man explained, "A faithful woman would have simply refused my request with dignity and silence, but your queen reacted with violence and fury, not because I offended her, but because I exposed her guilt. The loudest anger often hides the deepest fear." The king, still unsure, questioned his queen. After much pressure, she broke down and confessed her betrayal. Now truly astonished, the king asked a final question. "Then tell me one last thing. Am I truly my father's son? The blind man went quiet. Then he said, Yes, you are your father's son. But there is a shadow around your early life. A merchant once raised you, a stingy man, not of royal blood. The king turned pale. He returned to the palace and demanded the truth from his mother. Tears filled her eyes. Your father died when you were still a child. We had no gold. I was afraid. A merchant helped us survive. I told no one, for your sake. The king returned to the field and fell to his knees. You are truly no ordinary man, he said. You see more than those with eyes. Tell me, how do you know all this? The blind man smiled. Because I have learned to listen not just with my ears, but with my whole being. The body speaks the language of the mind. A trembling voice, a clenched jaw, a restless foot. These things never lie. I may be blind, but I am fully present, and when you live completely in the present moment, everything becomes clear. Then he shared the 3 techniques he had mastered, techniques anyone can learn. Observe the eyes. The eyes are a mirror of the soul. People often lie with words, but the eyes reveal the truth. When someone looks away, blinks too much, or avoids your gaze, it can mean they're hiding something. When someone's pupils dilate, they may feel attraction, fear, or surprise. When their eyes stay still and focused, they're either calm or hiding a lie behind a rehearsed mask. Read the face. The face is the most expressive part of the body. A raised eyebrow, a twitch of the lip, a furrow in the brow. These small signs show emotions more clearly than words. A true smile reaches the eyes. A fake one doesn't. Notice when someone smiles, but their eyes look sad. Or when they say they're fine, but their jaw is tight and their lips are thin. The truth is written in the face, always. Feel the body language. The body never lies. Crossed arms often mean defensiveness. Fidgeting reveals nervousness. A person leaning in wants to connect. Someone pulling back feels unsafe. Even the way a person walks or stands can show their level of confidence, fear, or intention. When you learn to observe without judgment, the body becomes a book you can read. And then the blind man gave the final key. But these techniques are only tools. To use them well, you must quiet your own mind. If you're lost in your own thoughts, you won't notice the signals in others. But if you are fully present with a clear and calm mind, you will begin to understand people, not with your eyes, but with awareness. In the end, true vision is not with the eyes, but with presence. And when you are truly present, you'll see more than you ever imagined, even in silence, even in darkness.